Home again. She was standing at the step leading to the outer door of the house, watching the keyhole poised like pursed lips, ready to bite. There was no one else to clean out the house, and reluctantly she had resigned herself to the task at hand. Drawing a breath, she tentatively pushed the door ajar. Superficially, the house was unremarkable, impersonating a quiet life. Yet behind its facade, number 39 looked like an emerald city erected from abandoned Gordon's bottles, cardboard boxes, and rusting cans. The house reintroduced itself with a smell, raw and rotten like grief. She closed the door and leant back against it. Even amongst the wreckage, she felt a faint sense of bewilderment. She had imagined it all being much bigger, remembered taller ceilings, a wider awning, a longer hall. But it was hard to feel nostalgic, surrounded by all of this decay. Clambering through the house, her hands pushed back objects like the low-hanging branches in a wood, until she reached the kitchen. She put her bag and coat down on a square of tissue, a cordon sanitaire she had designated on the grimy work surface. She took 3 paracetamol and started to fill black bags. The floor was horizontal with things. She pulled them open like drawers or cupboards, inspecting the contents. 158 Blue Peter badges, a suitcase full of red milk bottle tops, indistinguishable meat-like cubes crawling with tiny maggots, 19 personal stereos in disintegrating Woolworths bags, unopened bags of crisps, and all of them in discontinued flavours. The house reverberated around her. It seemed to be breathing, exhaling with the relief of a person inside it. The tins of food had been there so long their insides had vanished, and their grey skeletons were crumbling. Cockroaches scuttled past her hands as she tied bag after bag. By the time one corner of the room was clear, she stood with the backs of her hands on her hips, watching. The refracted light flickered with rainbow colours, but the empty window seat unsettled her. It was so still, like nothing had ever happened there. Upstairs, the rooms had changed. The bedrooms were full, floor to ceiling, window to wall. They were in fact so full, artefacts had clumped together to create new walls and sinuous pathways from room to room. Yet even under the weight of the wheezing house, her mother's bedroom seemed the same. She removed the bedclothes. She boxed up a pile of shoes, unable to fathom why they were all odd. Pausing and looking at the wardrobe, it was hard not to feel mocked by the memory that she had once kept her clothes in there, at a time when she had had more things than her mother. She barely needed to open the wardrobe to uncover her mother's pale rain mat, the one she always wore, her favourite coat. It was a light yellowish fawn, like the complexion of a china doll. She'd been wearing it the last time they saw each other. It seemed important to remove it from the other familiar clothes and display it on the wardrobe door. It hung there, strung up by its neck, suspended by sinewy threads and the echo of a body. Such a sleepy little ghost. She looked at it and looked at it, until her eyes started to blur as it became skin. She remembered that as a child, she had read that the lion in The Wizard of Oz wore a costume made from the hide and fur of a real lion. Perhaps this too was more than a costume. It took the shape she remembered, wide at the hips with a smaller waist. And through her squinting eyes, maybe she could even see the birthmark on the shoulder. It appeared sensible that the police might have tidied her mother away after the coroner's inquest. A pair of lungs in a bathroom cabinet, a rhythmic heart in the kitchen sink. She put it on. Back downstairs, she unpacked the bags of debris around her, restacking the tins of Campbell's soup with sell-by dates from before the millennium, piling up old Vogue magazines in the corner, retowering hair extensions and wigs upon the washing machine. The house exhaled. A rat ran along the skirting board. She locked eyes with her glassy twin in the mirrored pane of the back door. The coat twinkled in the early evening light, like wet skin. She threw handfuls of costume jewellery across the hallway floor, fashioning a road. She ordered the cracked faces of china dolls along the ironing board for company. The house rattled, like it might fall on her, crush her with its great beam and leave nothing more than 2 little feet sticking out. The thought was amusing. She turned on all the taps and every light. She opened the windows and all the doors. The house gasped. She lit a handful of candles and ripped every bin lighter open at the seams. Then she sat down with her legs outstretched, allowing the cascade of things to pour themselves around her. And with the clapping of her heels, she started to laugh to herself. There is no place like home.